you don't know me by now, Matt, introduce myself again. Anyhow, another secret, we like our cold steel, and got sort of something cool for you. This is the mini Bushman that I found at the last cold steel sale back in November. This one, the mini Bushmans were actually discontinued a while back, but somehow I was lucky enough to find one on their table of miscellaneous stuff. They always have a table. See, if you haven't been to the sale, there's another reason to go. You find some cool little finds once in a while. They usually have a table of stuff that's like shop worn, stuff they've used in tests, stuff that was discontinued, but they found it in the back corner of the warehouse when they were cleaning up. Just stuff like that. This one has had the tip, looks like it's had the tip redone. Anyways, I was lucky enough to find a mini Bushman, which I had wanted for a while, which I didn't realize they had discontinued until it had been discontinued. Anyhow, I also have a regular sized Bushman that I have on the end of a stick, just because I felt like making a spear out of it. But one of the cool things about these is that they do have the hollow handle, and for those of you who are not crazy about most types of hollow handles, because you think they're weak or whatever, the cool thing about this is that the hollow handle is just one big piece of metal. It was flat metal, then they rolled it into a grip. And one of the cool things about that is, you all know you can store stuff in it. So what I did with mine is I found a couple of these rubber plugs. I crammed that one in.
Hey, didn't you get these rubber plugs at Lowe's for a couple of cents a piece?
Lowe's or Home Depot. Okay, Lowe's I did not find the rubber plugs that fit this particular knife, but I found them at Home Depot. It was just a slight difference in the size variations that Home Depot had versus Lowe's. Either store is great, I don't really care.
Yeah, we're not plugging Lowe's or Home Depot.
That's just where I found them. You can probably find them at Do It Center or whatever you got nearby, your local hardware store or Ace. Anyways.
Yeah, but if you got a local hardware store that's owned by a mom and pop, check them first.
Yeah, do that too. Okay, so what I did is, I actually saw someone else doing this, but I thought I'd bring it up just because maybe some of you guys hadn't thought of it or wasn't sure why you want a Bushman, because you can do this. Okay, so the Bushman as it comes doesn't have anything to retain stuff inside of it. Yeah, it's got the space to put something in, doesn't have anything to hold it in. So I went and bought the rubber plugs. I have another rubber plug at this end which I can't seem to poke out now, but it's just about that long, just fit nicely to plug this end of the handle up. And then what I did is I just took a few of these waterproof matches.
Now the reason why you put that rubber plug in there is just to keep the stuff from
It's to keep
falling
anything
out.
from coming all out through this end.
But because and we don't want to mislead anybody, but because it has a seam right here where the knife has been folded together, it's not going to be watertight.
No, it's not watertight.
So the plugs are just to keep the gear in there.
So which is why I'm using waterproof matches.
Exactly.
And then what I did is I peeled off the striker surface from the box that the matches came in, because they're not strike anywheres that I'm aware of anyways. So I took that off, and it kind of has like a little balsa wood back to it. Then I had a few, I'm not going to unravel this, but some fish hooks and some weights that I then wrapped in a plastic bag and then wrapped that up with, I'm not sure how much line this is, but that should be enough that I can
you should be able to set a couple
I should be able to use it in some way, tie it to the end of a stick, make a little, just leave it as a, hang it from a floater of some sort. Anyways, so just an emergency quick fire and fishing kit, and it all fits in the grip of this mini Bushman, which the regular Bushmans are a little bit larger, so if I can put this in in the mini Bushman, imagine what you can put in a full-size Bushman.
And not only do they have the full-size Bushman, but they have the Bushman Bowie.
Bushman Bowie and full-size Bushman.
Which,
and the regular Bushman.
I think the Bushman Bowie's handle might be a little bit longer, but
I think the handles are the same on both knives.
You think so?
But the Bowie Bushman just has a wider blade.
Has a much wider blade.
But anyhow, so for those of you who don't like hollow-handled knives that are, with the plastic handles or otherwise, just because you don't think they're strong enough, well, here's probably the next best thing that you can probably trust a lot better. And then that just caps off, kind of wedge it in there. And it's pretty easy to remove this if you need to. Now you've got a quick little survival knife with a few extras inside of it. So if you can find yourself a mini Bushman just because they're cool, because they're nice and small, great. If not, I also recommend the regular size Bushman. And You know, I can't wait. I know Chappie also can't wait to get our hands on the on those new survival edges that Cold Steel's coming out with. That is the plastic handle, hollow handle with the, you know, the screw-on grip and the screw-on cap. We've watched a couple of their videos that Cold Steel did themselves demonstrating it, and I'm pretty impressed with how well it holds together. Can't get, you know, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get one and I'm going to be happy with it. Because until now I haven't really, from what I've seen of other hollow-handled knives, I've always been real disappointed. I find that the blades come loose from the handle pretty easily. You know, they get a lot of wobble in them. They rattle around.
Or the knife's too heavy. And
the knife's too heavy. It's impractical. It's uncomfortable. The blade is made, you know, a lot of cheap material. They're cheap knockoff type knives. So I'm excited to see the one that Cold Steel's coming out with, the Survival Edge. In the meantime, this one will serve the kind of the same purpose. It's just, I just always like taking anything that I can use for more than one purpose or add as much to it as I can. So can't wait to get that. In the meantime, I like this, and we'll keep coming up with cool stuff for you guys to look at and maybe get your own ideas. You know, put whatever you want inside of it. Maybe even do any modifications that you think of. At one point, I actually did try putting some shrink tube over this to give it maybe a little bit more of a watertight seal. I found that the shrink tube came loose and kind of slid off, so fail. Yeah. But you can wrap it in silicone tape or whatever that gives it a nice rubbery grip. That's the cool thing about such a simple knife, is there's a lot of stuff you can do to upgrade it to whatever your own taste is, you know?
Yeah, so, and if you want to seal that, I mean, you could redneck seal it and just throw a bead of JB Weld down that, or some silicone or something like that. And, you know, if you're a redneck, don't take offense to that, because we're rednecks too. So
nothing wrong with that at all.
One thing I wanted to touch on that Matt kind of brought up was the Survival Edge, because we do know Lynn and the guys, when it first came out on the web, and I was watching, Matt and I talked about it, and we had some hesitations, I guess you would say. Yeah. We had some hesitations as to, you know...
At first I was kind of like, oh man, Cold Steel's going to come out with a hollow handle knife, but...
Yeah, and it's going to be plastic, and you know, we're really kind of hesitant to it. But so we took those questions directly to Lynn about how the handle is attached to the blade, and you know, so on and so forth, how it's manufactured and everything. And Lynn explained it to us, and we'll explain it to you guys when we get a hold of a couple of them and we actually demo them. But from what Lynn told us about how the process of mating the blade with the handle,
it sounds really sturdy.
You're going to have to put it through quite a bit of extreme punishment to actually break it. And then again, that brings me back to the point of don't baton your knife. Using any type of a tool in a way that it's not made to be used is going to damage it and break it. And if this is your survival tool, I mean, me personally, if this Survival Edge turns out to be what we're expecting it to be, I can't see any reason not to have a hollow-handled knife, because if it's your only tool that you wind up with in a survival situation, and it's got a hollow handle and it's packed with matches, fishing line, fishing hooks, and stuff like that, then, you know, you've got more of a chance at surviving. And so when we get a hold of those and we can field test them and bring our, you know, our findings to you guys, I'm sure you guys will be pleasantly surprised. And for those guys out there,
one other thing too is I've looked at what they're projecting the price to be. It's not an expensive knife, so even if you get it and you're not happy with it, you're not blowing that much money to try it out. Yeah. It's worth giving it a chance. I was going to give it a chance no matter what. Yeah. But I mean, once I watched the videos that Cold Steel put out, I mean, go to their Facebook page, or you can just go to their website. I'm sure you can find their video. There's like a couple videos.
YouTube, yeah.
There's a couple videos. One of them is Andrew Demko. I think he was the guy. I think might have been the guy that designed it. He designs a lot of their knives. He puts that thing through some abuse. I mean, he puts it in the vise and pulls it like 90 degrees. To where the blade is bent, and I'm surprised. I couldn't believe that that plastic didn't break right off of the tang. Yeah. And it holds securely. There's not even any wiggle between the knife and the handle, or the blade and the handle.
And then he restraightened the blade.
Yeah, then he restraightens the blade and uses it some more.
So for those of you guys out there that that talk about these things, wait until you actually get your hands on it. Try it in the field. Don't say, this is not going to work, and it's just another one of those hollow-handled knives. Give it a shot, and I think it's like 24, 25 bucks.
I think it's more like 30, 35. But
man, even at 35, it's extremely affordable.
I don't know if they'll have it at this coming parking lot sale, but if you're in the area and you can get out here to Ventura on the weekend of May the 19th and 20th, even
it
if
would be something to
even
look
if
into.
Survival Edge isn't there, it's worth seeing what else they have. You guys can find some cool stuff there.
Yep.
Me again. We also wanted to give you a quick update. I don't know if some of you saw our post this morning. Well, this morning as we're taping this, that Chappie and I were heading to the local Ventura swap meet to see what we could find that might be handy for survival and other just cool stuff. And my score for the day turned out to be the only thing I got, but I'm happy with it. Is a good old military style lensatic compass, which has the tritium in the north arrow and top of the bezel, and then on the little sighting plate here. So these are kind of hard to come by. You can find ones that look all the same, but they don't have the tritium in them, and they tend to be about 90 bucks brand new. Most of the time you can find used ones online for around 60. Pick this up for 30 bucks. It's working great. You know, the exterior's got a few scratches and little dings on it, but everything on it that we can tell, you know, we looked it over, it seems to be functioning great. The only damage to it, you know, besides some paint scratches, is that the little pin that is the hinge for this hook here, that's kind of it's what sort of locks this whole thing down to keep it from flopping open. That little thing has a
it needs to be flared back out.
Flared, an unflared rivet here. Otherwise, this thing was a great find today. I couldn't be happier. I've been wanting to get one of these. I've been holding out for a decent one for a while at a decent price. Here, I'll set it down. You can see that the wheel is floating and it's pointing where it needs to point. So that's
and one of the cool things about these compasses is, for those of you that don't know, is that when you close this, it locks the bezel down.
And you got the magnifier here.
So it locks this bezel down so that once it's locked, it doesn't float around when you're in transit. And then when you lift that, there's a lot of light off the ceiling, but when you lift that, it releases that wheel so the transit can move freely. And these are the points that are tritium that Matt was talking about. And one of the ways to
blow at night, all night long.
Yeah, one of the things that you want to look for is that little symbol right there on the back. And when you're looking at these compasses, there's a different same style made by the same company that doesn't have the tritium in it, and the tritium is just a little bit slightly radioactive, so it'll have that symbol on the back. And then Matt also got this pouch,
which is the intended
compass pouch.
This pouch fits nicely in there. You'd almost think this was designed for it.
Yeah, and didn't the guy also give you a...
Now I'm having trouble getting in it. Yeah, he threw in a little web belt extender. I left it in the Jeep.
So you got all three pieces for 30 bucks.
30 bucks for the whole thing. And he said he was going to try to ask 35 for this, but I had 30 in my hand, so okay. You know, I probably could have wheeled them down to 20 or 25.
Perfect score, man.
So
what else you got? You wanted to show us some of the stuff that you got at the gun show lately, right?
The past couple trips to the gun show, I came out with some pretty cool stuff. About 2 or 3 gun shows ago, I got this Voodoo Tactical little assault pack, they call it. I've kind of made this my EDC. I was using a Blackhawk Hydrostorm camelback type pack that only had it had the bladder compartment, then it had 2 exterior pouches. I've kind of outgrown the stuff I want to keep handy for my EDC. I was kind of outgrowing that little pack, so I bought this thing, which has way more compartments. I mean, you got this. It's got MOLLE straps. I attached a canteen to it. You got 1 compartment.
And you know what? Before you go any further, one of the reasons why on the back of my EDC I've got a canteen also, and you know, most people you'll see that they have their EDC and they've got a hydro bladder, like a camel bag. I took the camel bag out of my pack, and one of the reasons why we've opted for the canteen is Matt's. I can feel it right here. Matt's canteen is set up just like a military canteen. It is a military canteen, but it's got the canteen cup inside here along with the canteen stove. So Matt has his water and his stove and his cup all good to go right here, and he's also got water purification tablets.
I got some bleach, a little vial of bleach here.
So just this pack right here, he's got 6 different pieces, and it takes up more space, and you're not carrying as much water as you would if you had a camel bag. But the trade-off with being able to carry the canteen cup and the canteen stove that's right here, I can feel them both inside, is, I mean, for us, it's the perfect trade-off.
Yeah.
So
now, and this does also have the space for the bladder. I actually took the bladder, put it back in its other carrier because I was using it for something where I didn't need the whole EDC with me for a couple hours. I was still near the Jeep. If I needed all my gear, I could get to it in 2 seconds. But so you got your bladder carrier. So if I'm anticipating that I'm going to be away from another source of water for a while, then I fill up the canteen and I fill up my 100 ounces of water here, plus whatever else I might want to have with me. So I've got plenty of water to get me through a day or two if I suddenly find myself stranded or away from a refill source. That's, again, like I said, if I anticipate that I'm going to be away from water, then, you know, I'm usually able to find water somewhere. But if I know that I'm going to be, there's a chance that I could get stranded somewhere, I'm going to fill both those up and have them there. Anyways,
now this you carry at all times. This is in the Jeep all the time.
It's EDC, doesn't mean I strap it on every time I'm walking down the street. It's in the back. It's always in my Jeep. The Jeep, I go pretty much everywhere in the Jeep, so this is pretty much always in the Jeep. But it's all together. So if I need to ditch the Jeep and go somewhere, I can just grab this bag, and I do have just enough to get me by for a day or two if I needed to, you know, whatever the situation, you know, whatever it is. If I'm not going to be able to use the Jeep or stay with the Jeep, and I need, or even if I am in the Jeep and this is all I got, I usually have that bundle of the other video I showed you with all the ammo cans with my instant campsite. That once in a while I don't have that stuff in there, but this should be enough to give you some comfort.
And that's always in the Jeep.
And I have this thing set up sort of in depending on what level of emergency I might find myself in. I mean, I've got some of it's just stuff that I like to have handy at a drop of a hat, just on regular day-to-day stuff. I mean, I've got a headlamp in case it suddenly gets dark. I've got the PAL light, which we've shown off before. I've got, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. I got a little bit of paracord. I've got a reflective strap. I got some Burt's Bees hand salve, which is good for both keeping tinder burning, hand salve, you know, pens. I got a upper thing with a leaf. I got some poison oak soothing soap. I've got or stuff that gets poison oak off you, some bug repellent, some hand sanitizer. This next compartment, again, it's kind of to which degree of emergency. I mean, I got a whole bunch more lengths of paracord, some lighter fluid. I got a toothbrush, toothpaste kit. Got a Cliff Bar. I've got my Cold Steel's Inferno pepper spray in case I'm gonna get into a hot zone, so to speak.
Or you're gonna make it a hot zone?
When I make somebody a hot zone, I'm gonna, you know, got a little backup knife here. It's not Cold Steel, so I'm not even gonna talk about it. I got a little knife sharpening tool, Speedy Sharp.
But wait a minute, I think you have a AK-47 on.
I got an AK-47 strapped on one of these here, so I always got a backup folder. What do I got? I got a little electrical tape. I got my Gerber multiplier. I got a little field silverware kit. Various forms of other light. I mean, I got this little deal here. Glows green like a little glow stick kind of thing. Boom. And then this last pack is when, you know, if things are starting to get really bad. I mean, I already took a bunch of stuff out of it so I can get to something I wanted to show you. I mean, I have a space blanket. I got a poncho. Bunch of zip ties. I got some wool glove inserts, and then one of these neoprene face mask things if it's going to be cold and windy. And I've got my little, you know, the hand chainsaw thing. Got a bunch of biofire with a fire steel, and some other waterproof matches, stormproof matches. I'm trying to speed this up here because we're running out of tape and battery life. We got my little binos in case I need to have a look around. Got a tube full of cotton balls for dry tinder on top of the biofire. Got my that lanyard that I showed you the video of how I made in case I don't want to drop something. Got a cool little book by National Geographic, just a survival guide thing in case you start losing your mind. You need to quick reference, give yourself a reminder of certain things you might have forgotten because you're getting, you know, you get dehydrated, you get hungry, you get a little loopy. Well, that's a little backup.
What Matt's trying to say is we don't know everything. Have this gear with us, and having a book like that, it allows you to reference stuff when you're outside of your normal area of operations. So that's
that's all in here. This is all the stuff I can get to real quick that'll just kind of, oh crap, it's raining, I got my poncho. You know what I mean? Stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then something that I got
And that poncho can also double as a makeshift shelter.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
And then, especially combine it with the space blanket. Now, the last couple gun shows, I also picked up this little dry box, and at this most recent gun show that we just went to this past weekend, I picked up a larger version of it. But what I got in here is when things, this is when I'm like lost and I'm trying to get rescued here, and maybe some of my other resources are out. Oh, by the way, I also keep my Aquamira Frontier Pro water filter in here with I got a sewing kit and a couple bandanas to do as like a sort of a pre-filter for water. Some shrink tube. Okay, now I got more bandanas, a Cliff Bar, some more BioFire, hand warmers, a little bit more paracord, some more fireproof matches, waterproof matches. I got my signal mirror. Again, this is for when I'm lost and I'm trying to get rescued. So
quick on this,
bird and trout.
This is the only signal mirror we highly recommend. It's by ACR. It is a plastic composite, and the cool thing about it is it has this holographic red dot that'll show up on your target when you're aiming it, and it comes with a little flotation device and a safety whistle. These things run about $8, so pick one up and put it in your kit.
So I've got some chem lights, and I've even got like a battery operated, it's a flashlight glow stick.
And whistle.
And whistle, built-in whistle. I mean, the mirror comes with a whistle built onto it, float. I've got whistles on these. I've got a whistle on the strap of my pack here.
You got a whistle on your wristband.
I made the wristband with a whistle on that. Redundancy, folks, redundancy. I got my bird and trout for emergency bird and, what was that what it says? Cleaning animals.
Who makes that?
That's a Cold Steel. And
one of the things Matt's going through this
flake magnesium.
Matt's going through this real fast because we got a limited amount of time. One of the things Matt went and did with this Cold Steel bird and trout.
What did I do? I made a mess. Okay.
Is the sheaths were having a problem.
It wasn't retaining the knife real well.
So Matt, what did you do here?
I took some. I went to Harbor Freight, got some rare earth magnets. Those little tiny. You can probably see the like little watch battery size magnets, and I put the knife in the sheath, set the magnets on there on both sides so that they stuck, to the knife through the plastic. And then I used shrink tube to hold the batteries in place, so it gives a little more retention to the
magnets, not batteries.
Sorry, yeah, the magnets give a little more retention to the sheath. They just help hold the knife so it's less likely to slip out accidentally. Or the knife could even, if you need to be doing something quick and you don't want to put it in the sheath, it'll just stick to it.
There you go.
So that's my little.
And then have you put anything in this bigger box yet?
Not yet. So I'm
one
going to be looking at
of the cool things about these boxes is they come with a built-in compass.
Well, and they fit pretty dang nicely in the bottom of this pack. I mean, I might have to make a little bit of space, but boom. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Just get you, anyone who maybe is trying to think, hey, how do I make an EDC? How do I make a bug-out bag? I don't have all the answers. It's not. I mean, there's no one way to do it right. Whatever works for you. So we just always want to give you guys ideas to get you thinking on your own. So hope this helps. If some of you are sitting around going, man, what do I do? Well, here's a starting point. Here's a couple examples. Add some stuff, take some stuff away.
Yeah, and in case you guys heard that loud bang while we were videotaping, it was just our NSS nurse, Kimberly, coming in the door. She's kind of camera shy. She's a little camera shy, but that's our nurse, and we keep her around when when I get boo-boos. So there she is. She's hiding. So from Matt and myself, we say take care and take care of the wild.
Amen. Stay classy, San Diego, and thanks for stopping by.